So we can do the time, all the ages on different times. He wants us to give him the time.
We changed our policy in the last couple of years. Comments at the end.
Giving us 40 hours for the week. So I don't care if they work 9 to 5 or from 6 to midnight.
Yeah.
Thank.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the voting thing?
We need to discuss that.
Well, we'll figure something out. I'm sure.
We make sure they work 40 hours.
You're always inventing. You're an inventor.
We got the environmentalist here. Hey, John.
Good morning, good morning.
All right, Kenny.
Delancey.
Mr. Clerk, we have a quorum on the floor.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newark Municipal Council special meeting and conference meeting. Madam President, in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice has been provided to the Star-Ledger, the Jersey Journal, and to the public at large establishing the date, time, and location of this meeting. May I have a roll call of those present, please?
Amador, absent. Gonzalez.
Present.
Present.
McCallum.
Present.
McIver. Absent. Osborne.
Present. Here.
Absent. President.
Here.
On the agenda, 6 PSNFA, ordinance on public hearing, second reading and final passage. It's an ordinance authorizing and approving an amended and restated financial agreement originally approved by the ordinance 6 PSNFG adopted on December 19, 2018, which approved and granted a tax abatement to 155 Washington Street Urban Renewal LLC for a project to construct approximately 249 market rate rental units, 4,000 square feet of office space, and 6,000 square feet of retail space located on property known as 141-149, 151-153, 155, 157-159 Washington Street. I believe Corporation Counsel has something to say here.
Mr. Corp Counsel.
Good morning, all. Kenyatta Stewart, City of Newark Corporation Counsel. So I had an opportunity to speak to the attorney for the developer, and they recognize that they have their plans already edged in stone for the original 220 units, I believe it was. And it will probably cost them a lot of money to go through that process to change it over. So they're asking if we can do an amendment on the floor to keep it at the original 220 units as opposed to the 242, I believe.
Any questions for Corp Counsel?
Could I just ask? Will this have to be advertised again, or is it adopted? Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Clerk.
So the amendment is to change from approximately 249 market rate units to 220 market rate rental units. Corporation Counsel?
I'm sorry. Did you say is the amendment to change from back to the 220 units?
From
the original
249
number?
back to 220.
Yes.
Council of the
Is it
whole to
council as a whole
amend?
to amend on the floor? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Council of the whole to adopt as amended.
Roll call.
Amador, absent. Gonzalez.
Yes.
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 McIver.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam President, the item that was amended on the floor today will have to be re-advertised, which we will do for a public hearing to take place at the special meeting of February 11, beginning at 10 a.m. here in the council chamber.
So noted, Mr. Clerk.
Resolutions. Resolution 7R2A is a ratifying, authorizing, and amending resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for a third amendment to the pass-through agreement implementing an environmental investigation and remedial action work at Newark Riverfront Park.
Council, anyone? Roll call.
Council of the whole.
Amador absent. Gonzalez.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Yes.
MacIver.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes. Yes.
Ramos.
Yes.
Yes.
7R3A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Engineering for a bid contract for various streets. I guess this is paving.
Questions? Roll call.
Council of the whole.
Amador absent. Gonzalez.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Yes.
MacIver.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
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 President.
Yes.
Yeah, Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Ramos.
can we get a schedule, paving schedule for 2020 as it relates to this particular contract from the engineering department?
Mr. Clerk, so noted.
Yes, ma'am.
The director is here. Do you want to stand?
Good morning, Philip Scott, Director of Engineering. We're aware of the request. We will put it together as soon as possible. We need to award the contract and have a kickoff meeting with the contractor before we can provide that schedule, but we will act as quickly as possible so that we can get things ready and be available to start paving as soon as the asphalt plants open up approximately April 1st.
And Madam President?
Yes.
Is this the first contract that we approve for paving for 2020?
For 2020, yes, this is the first. We expect at least one, maybe two more.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Councilman Gonzalez.
No, that way the director of the department, I want to commend the director because I saw a light in front of City Hall here that is counting now, has a voice counter, and I just wanted to know if that's a pilot that we're going to extend through the city.
It's not exactly a pilot. We are doing approximately 50 intersections. We're starting with the downtown, but as we get funds, we're going to expand it throughout the whole city.
Thank you very much.
In addition, since we're handing out thank yous, the first thank you goes to you, Councilman. Even though I'm a retired Braille teacher of many years, it was your idea. And I want to thank you for formalizing it and making it a reality. Director, thank you for doing it so quickly. I need to share with you that a number of my students, former students, who they still think I am their teacher. They come sometimes down to City Hall. They've commented, on how safe they feel with the new electronic voice. And so thank you. So that is something that needs to be publicized as well.
I
But
believe
we'll talk
you should
about
take
that.
a picture in front of one of those and have a reporter do a report, because it's important for the people that are, let's say, high impaired, that can see, the people that have issues with vision. We in the city of North, well, I went to Ecuador and to cities that are, let's say, third world cities, and they have something like that. The most important, the biggest city in New Jersey doesn't have that kind of technology. I believe that it's important that we are taking a step forward in that direction.
So, Director, we'll expect a report from you as soon as possible about expanding the program.
Yes,
Throughout the
absolutely.
city. Anyone else? Thank you. Mr. Clerk?
Let's go to the added starter page. 7R1A is an authorizing resolution for the Department of Administration accepting a gift. This is a basic license fee for the use of Prudential Hall and Personate Room and Ticketing Services for the purpose of the 2020 State of the City mayoral address.
Council as a whole?
Roll call.
Amador, absent. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
7R2B is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Economic and Housing Development for the private sale and redevelopment to construct a 5-story mixed-use development with parking and ground floor retail space.
Glad we're done.
Sponsor.
Second.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
could the Deputy Mayor just give us a brief overview of this transaction and the proposed project?
Director?
Good morning.
Morning.
Allison Ladd, Acting Director, Economic and Housing Development. Thank you, Madam President and council members, for giving me a chance to speak on 269 Springfield Avenue, the project before you. This development will help the advancement of some vacant and blighted properties. What we will be able to do is construct a 5-story mixed-use development with some parking and ground floor retail. This development has been discussion that's been held for many years, and so we're glad that we're able to bring it to you today. We do have members of the development team here present who may want to speak to this great project. Frederica Bay is with us, and I'm happy to have her give a few more details about the project.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
is this the federally qualified clinic?
No.
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 It's not, okay.
That's coming in Westwood.
Yes. Any other comments? Ms. Bay, do you want to speak?
Yes, real quickly. Basically, I just want to thank Mayor Ras J. Baraka, certainly Council President Mildred C. Crump, our mighty Central Ward Councilwoman, LaMonica McGyver, and certainly Allison Ladd, our Deputy Mayor. And we have Joe Thor here. He's representing Scott Fields, who couldn't be here today, but Joe is a longtime activist and political might in Newark. And all I want to say is I was there on Springfield Avenue when it was burned down to the ground in 1967 for all the right reasons. And I'm here in 2020 to see it rebuilt because of this administration. So I want to thank all of you, certainly our council, Kenyatta. We want to thank you and just the whole city council for your help. This project is stellar. I think you've all seen the design, and I'm excited about it, and I thank you so much, and I thank God.
Madam President, if I may.
Yes.
How many residential units are contemplated?
107,
And these are market rate units, or are this
80-20, 80% market, yeah, 80% market, 20% affordable, with commercial development at the base.
Madam President,
I
could-
I
think,
don't know if Joe.
I
yes.
just asked, this property had been previously designated by the city, right?
I am so glad you brought that up, Councilman. Yes, you know the history of it. You know the
I
history
remember us
of it. and-
voting on a designation some years back, so that particular developer agreement fell through, so now this project is being resurrected.
Well, it didn't quite, yeah, it fell through, but there was some machinations that Council President is very well aware of, and the mayor is very well aware of, and they fixed it. You know, they fixed it. And then some things happened with the former developers from Atlanta. But I thank God for them, and I thank God now for Scott Fields and Joe. And it's going to be a project that you and the whole city will be proud of, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Council President?
Yes.
First of all, I just want to thank Ms. Bay and the entire group from the 269 Springfield Avenue LLC for pushing this through and being patient. Deputy Mayor, I just want to commend you, number one, because this has been going on for like maybe 10 years prior to us getting to this point, and even since I entered office regarding trying to move this project forward through all of the difficulties and past history with everything. If possible, if you can just send an updated plan to the entire council, just so we can refresh our memory. Sometimes these projects, they are so long going that, you know, someone probably submitted the plans and everything a long time ago, and we just don't remember. Well, council members just don't remember. Me, it's been fresh because I've been working with them on it, but if you can send something to the entire council regarding this, usually it's the package that Keith gives us for this. We didn't, of course, this is an added starter, so we didn't get it. If we can get that to the entire council. I am excited about this project. As Ms. Bay mentioned, I live literally down the street from this area, and it has been vacant for a very, very long time. It is the site of a lot of hanging out, a lot of crime, a lot of filth in the area, and so it is the corner and main corner of Springfield Avenue, and we must do something about it. And so I just want to commend the administration for finally moving this part of the Central Ward forward, and that is very much a key of me, is to make sure that we're moving everything forward in the Central Ward on a same time, same base. So I'm very supportive of this project, and I'm excited for the people that live in this area, because now if we can just get Social Security to clean up their property, we will be in a better state. So thank you so much.
I too want to add a word, and if you can stay there, Director, so that you can be seen on television. This project, in my humble opinion, is a clear example that community and the administration can work together. Every now and then you run into a snafu, but I want to congratulate Director Ladd. I want to thank Mr. B.A. For tolerating me, and certainly Corp Counsel. I also want to thank the clerk, and he doesn't get thanked an awful lot of times, but he was amenable and willing to insert his wisdom as we arrived at the decision. This was probably one of the best examples, as I said in the beginning, of community and government working together, and I am so honored to second. Roll call, Mr. Clerk. Thank you.
Yes.
James.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
7R3,
Next item.
7R3B is a ratifying, authorizing, and amending resolution for the Department of Engineering for a grant agreement to accept grant funding and an agreement modification. This is an additional $186,000. Council of the whole?
Thank you.
Commodore absent. Gonzalez.
Yes.
James.
Yes. Yes.
McIver.
Yes.
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 7R6A is an authorizing resolution for the Department of Law for an exception to public bidding for library and educational goods and services. Council of the whole?
Council as a whole.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Quick question for you.
Yes.
Madam President, I
Yes.
just have a quick question. In terms of the number of licenses that are purchased with this acquisition here.
Sure. Kenyatta Stewart, City of Newark Corporation Counsel. So it's definitely 30 attorney licenses, and I think it's 30 non-attorney licenses as well that goes through the process.
Okay, so let's say, assuming that a council member wants to use Westlaw, Is that possible?
Assuming so, we can make it possible.
Are you sure?
We recognize that Westlaw is a program that provides a number of research engines that help not just lawyers, but anyone who wants to get into the weeds of some of what happened. So, of course, we can find a way.
Okay.
Assuming that one councilman wants one.
Mr. Clerk.
7R9A is a authorizing resolution for the Department of Public Safety for an exception to public bidding to provide CPR and bleeding control training.
Anyone comment? Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, the whole to adjourn the voting portion of this meeting?
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam President, we are now in the conference meeting. The first item on the agenda is the CDBG funds presentation. At the request of the business administrator, we are going to defer this one until the February 11th special meeting. That brings up the long-term control plan for Ms. Gaddy. If you'll come to the microphone.
For the president. Thank you. As he is uploading the presentation.
Please state your name.
Kim Gaddy, Environmental Justice Organizer for Clean Water Action, South Ward resident, and coordinator of the Newark Dig GI Reformers. Today, with this presentation, I, along with about 4 of my colleagues, will be making a presentation on this crucial issue of the City of Newark's long-term control plan. The information was disseminated to each and every one of you. Do you all have a copy of the presentation?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a copy? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you click it. So Newark Dig, Doing Infrastructure Green, was established in 2013. We are committed to continuously improving the quality of life, health, and viability of the City of Newark and its residents. Our primary goal is the establishment of sustainable green infrastructure as the first line of defense to better manage stormwater runoff, improve our water quality and resiliency to flooding, and reduce combined sewer overflows, which we call CSOs, with a focus on the Passaic River and its tributaries. Newark Dig has been committed through our GI reformers. Each ward has a GI reformer that has been reaching out to community members, hosting meetings. We have about 400 members and about 50 champions. We have been out in the community doing door-to-door with door knockers, door-to-door canvassing, and what our community really wants is to reduce the flooding and the smell that happens with CSOs in their communities. And that's why this presentation is so crucial and important to the residents. Before I turn it over to Nicole, there is about 5 key points that I want to stress, because this is the role that the Newark Municipal Council must take in its partnership with us. The first one is the Municipal Council can partner with Newark Dig and community partners to host community meetings to inform and engage residents and businesses on the long-term control plan, especially the ward council members. I haven't been successful in the South Ward yet, but I have attended many meetings that our South Ward councilman has had, but we would like to partner with the actual councilman so that the residents can understand the seriousness of this project and how important it is to the City of Newark. Municipal Council can approve sewer rate study to complete feasibility study. I hope you all are knowledgeable of that. That is also key. The Municipal Council can begin work on stormwater ordinance changes for developers. That is primary and something that is definitely a necessity. Municipal Council will be required to approve the final long-term control plan to secure funding for implementation. This will be a 10 to 20-year project. If we replace all of the lead service lines completely without green infrastructure, that's about a $794 billion that would be spent. And then lastly, we truly need the municipal councils to make sure that the regional concerns do not supersede what is best for Newark, because this is happening in other municipalities around the state, but we want to make sure that what we need for Newark is determined by the residents and this august body that we are before. So now I do want to turn it over to Nicole Miller, who is the co-chair of our Newark Dig, along with Greg Renault. Following Mo will be here with New Jersey Future. We have Dr. Chris Rupter from Rutgers University, and then we have Drew Curtis from ICC, and these are just some members of our Newark Dig to kind of finalize this presentation to you all. So thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Nicole Miller, as was stated. We're very excited to be here for you before you to talk about this very important issue. The next slide is stormwater on city streets, just a very brief overview. If we were still in grasslands, the rain would come down, soak into the water table, go down into whatever river or down into the groundwater. Unfortunately, we're on paved streets, and in Newark, we have a majority paved streets. Almost 80% of Newark is paved. And so, unfortunately, that rain hits roofs, it hits sidewalks, it hits parking lots, and goes directly into our sewer system. And that overflow with our old system, which is called a combined sewer system in a good portion of the city, cannot handle the overflow with the amount of population increase and paved surface in our area right now. So in that slide, unfortunately, it's rather graphic, but you can see that the household and business waste from sinks and toilets, washing machines, et cetera, goes into the sewer, and when it's raining, it combines in the same pipe with rainwater and goes, unfortunately, on just a brief rain can make it overflow the system and not go to our water waste treatment facility, and unfortunately go directly into either the Passaic River or the Elizabeth River, the ditch there, the Elizabeth River ditch. And so this, unfortunately, is a situation that we want to fix quickly. On top of it being a problem of sending toxic water into our waterways, you can see there's an image there of a CSO down in Perth Amboy. Next to it is an image actually from the East Ward of street flooding. And that water is not pristine, beautiful rainwater. Unfortunately, that is sewage that's mixed in with that rainwater. And so when you picture a child walking through the rain, jumping into a puddle, unfortunately, they're jumping into a puddle that has sewage mixed into it a lot of times. These are unacceptable situations, and we are mandated to fix them by the EPA and now by the NJDEP. And so the process is already in place. We're in year 5 of the 5-year program, and the people on this slide are the people who are able to make this change. So we have the Newark City Council here, we have the mayor who will enforce any legislation and ordinances that you approve and allocate the funds, and we have the director of water and sewer who will be able to send out those representatives. So no matter what else you hear, you know that these decision makers are the ones who are going to come up and approve Newark's plan. Okay, and so next I'll bring up Mo Kimberg. She can give you a little bit more information about, she's right there, about the regional work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So why are we here today? Well, in all honesty, we're in violation of the Clean Water Act of 1972. So the CSO permit and the CSO process and
Excuse me.
Yes.
Please introduce yourself.
Sorry about that. My name is Mo Kinberg. I'm the Community Outreach Manager with New Jersey Future. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with all of you. So why are we here today? This long-term control plan is now before you. It's been in the process for a very long time. It comes out of the Clean Water Act of 1972. Many things have happened over the course of the last 50 years, and now we're at this very important point of addressing sewage in our waterways. We've been allowed, the city of Newark has been allowed to dump raw sewage into the Elizabeth River in the Passaic with a permit from the DEP. But in 2015, the DEP issued a permit that required the city of Newark and the other 21 CSO communities to come up with a long-term control plan. So for the last 5 years, the city of Newark has been working with the Passaic Valley Sewerage Commission and the 7 other cities within this region that have CSOs on this plan. But ultimately, the city of Newark is responsible for its permit. And this plan is now due in just 4 months on June 1st, 2020. So that's why we're here today to talk to you.
Thank you, Mel. Now, Drew?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Drew Curtis, 142 Union Street, and I work for Ironbound Community Corporation. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the goals of the plan. So with the state permit from DEP, there are 2 goals: reducing or eliminating the number of CSO discharge events, the amount of times that their water comes back up and into the river or onto our streets, and also to reduce or eliminate the harmful pathogens or chemicals in the water or CSO discharge. But above and beyond that, our community wants to see other things come out of this plan, whether it's reducing or eliminating flooding in our homes and in our streets, using this investment in infrastructure spending to get community benefits, such as green space, and also, with all this money being spent, make sure that it's Newark residents being hired. Over the past year, over 300 residents have come out to community meetings in every ward of the city to talk about this issue, and residents really care about it. We asked them to rank 4 different areas on what's most important to them. These areas are stopping or reducing flooding, improving water quality in the Passaic River, having less disruption to daily life through construction, and cost to the individual resident. The most important thing by far was stopping or reducing flooding. Critical thing. Next most important was improving the water quality. So people want to see that happen. Then cost was the 3rd most important thing to residents. And the least important thing to residents was having less disruption to daily life. I think residents have understand that these things happen in an older city like Newark, that it takes time, you have to do construction. We've had PSE&G construction on gas lines, the lead service line construction going on now. Residents understand that, and they know we need to make those efforts to modernize our city too. So these are the things we want y'all to be keeping in mind too, as this is what your constituency is thinking about in this community. Also, the city of Newark has taken efforts to start creating jobs for Newarkers in this through a job training program. Ironbound Community Corporation, Newark Works, the Office of Sustainability, along with the Office of Water and Sewer, the Department of Water and Sewer, and then the Newark Alliance's Career Works program, have received funding to create a pilot programming on green infrastructure, installations, and maintenance. Ironbound Community Corporation holds a license that allows us to train residents so they can get a national certification, the only one available in the country in this. To date, we've graduated the pilot class of 18 people with another class coming up this spring too. So this is coming, and we would urge the council to keep supporting these efforts too, so Newarkers can get hired for these jobs too. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Nicole, and I'll be back a little bit later to talk about what residents thought about some of the ways that these issues could be fixed or solved. Thank you.
And thank you, Nicole Miller again. I did want to have Drew come up and talk about all of those issues, because keeping what the residents want and have stated over, we have been talking to them for the entire 4 years of this process, and they have stated emphatically that stopping the street flooding, the basement flooding, job creation, and green infrastructure are very important to them. And keeping that in mind, looking at the CSOs here on the next slide in front of you, you can see that we're talking about the North Ward, the Central Ward, the East Ward, the South Ward. This is not a one area problem. This is an entire problem that includes the West Ward, with the fact that the water, I live in the West Ward, the water from the West Ward rolls right on downhill, and I live right next to the Elizabeth Ditch. This is important to me. I'm a mother, I'm a resident, I'm a member of the Environmental Commission. These are important things to keep in mind, and we want all of our council persons here as well, and hope you'll help to convey this to our East Ward council person, that this really does need your full attention, and we hope that you will give it the attention it deserves. So we're going to run very quickly through the alternatives that have been considered so far with the long-term control plan. And so your next slide is alternative 1, which is the regulator modification. The reason that some of these have to be stated is because they do not all meet those criteria that Drew mentioned. So some of these will meet the permit, the baseline, the minimum standards, but they will not maximize the dollars for the community benefit. And so that's why we're standing in front of you, to make sure that those community dollars are maximized for community benefit. And so this first one, regulator modification, if you look at the little description, basically the little wall there that's keeping the water, they just are talking about raising it or closing the gate early, or opening it, leaving it a little open earlier, so that that water, a little bit more water, can go to the wastewater treatment facility. And they determined through modeling that leaving the gate open a little bit longer is a low or no cost option that does provide some benefit. And so moving on quickly to alternative 2, which is green infrastructure, we're going to bring up Dr. Chris Abrupta from Rutgers to give you those slides.
So good morning. It is still morning.
Good morning.
So my name is Chris Abrupta. I'm with Rutgers University. I'm a professor in the Environmental Science Department. I'm also with the Cooperative Extension Service. So my job is to really run around the state and extend the knowledge of the university out to the community to help them solve their problems. So improve quality of life. So I'm glad to talk about this alternative number 2. It's green infrastructure. Of all the alternatives that you're going to see today, this is the one that actually really does improve the quality of life of the residents of Newark. So we're talking about capturing water and trying to use these natural systems to get water back into the ground, or at least hold it and let it out slowly after the storm. So now we're talking about changing our parking lots into parking lots that actually water will pass through the surface, get into these stone layers. It'll stay in that stone underneath the parking lot, slowly seep into the ground or go back into the system. It's talking about putting vegetation along our sidewalks and creating these rain gardens where we can capture water, beautifying the neighborhood. It's talking about planting trees. A tree alone can intercept about 70% of the rainwater before it hits the ground. So there's a lot of these great options out there that we can use to kind of intercept that water before it gets into the combined system. So I guess I got slides. Do I have slides? Or? Next slide. Okay, there we go. So what's interesting about green infrastructure, it not only can capture the stormwater, but it also can do a lot of other things, right? So we're talking about environmental benefits, social benefits, economic benefits. You know, Drew was talking about creating jobs. This is a great place to create jobs because the jobs could be here. Now, if you're going to hire a company to come in here and build big tanks, you're going to hire a big construction company, probably from outside the city. If you're going to build green infrastructure, you can hire local people, train them, give them good-paying jobs, and have them actually have a career so they can move up. It also sequesters carbon. There is this thing called climate change. You might have heard about that. It actually is real. And it's
to her seat. Thank you. Come to my.
told her she's gonna help her.
That's what the lady said she's gonna help.
I invited her to come to my office. I will see that she comes up.
Because I love pizza. Teach more and let them be the world. So we know the places where I need
Just take her to a seat. She's not a disturbance.
to decide.
Come on, baby. Like not what you.
Thank you.
She wants to sing now.
Ladies, could one of you help this young lady to her seat?
Oh, here we go.
It was a pleasure.
I'm going to say no. Thank you, Mr. Bamani.
This street, don't act like nobody pushing you. Get off.
Shh, shh, shh.
Always disruptive.
I know her.
Is there, Mr. Clerk? Is there another speaker?
No one is,
No one appearing.
would you gavel us out of it?
I'm sorry.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Oh, I forgot. It's all right. The corporate council's going to
Aren't you going to go to the mic?
You wanted to close the public speakers first. It's all right. It's too late now.
We're known as, yeah. Oh, I can tell when she walked in. Something. James, could you ask the young lady just to wait? Mildred? Yes, my dear, I'm coming.
Let's say construction on Saturdays and Sundays without